Welcome back to She Will Empower. I'm Jessica Cherry, women's empowerment and breakthrough coach, NLP practitioner, award-winning writer, community director, sound bath girly, and your Tuesday morning host on the 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio's Wake Up Club. Today, I've got such a great episode. You are just going to love it. I am here in the studio with a very special celebrity guest from A&E's hit TV show, The Mother Flip, Kristy Etheredge.
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kristy. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I am doing so great. We just got back from a whirlwind trip to Dallas, and so I am just running on an energy high.
That's so awesome. I am totally loving your vibe. You seem like such a fun person to be around, and I'm loving how your personality shines on and off the camera. I want to know, let's go back to the very beginning because you're just on such an incredible journey with the Mother Flip. What was the spark for you personally that made you decide to do the work that you're doing now? What was the moment that you looked at Rebecca and you said, let's do this. I'm totally doing this. I'm on board.
I'm in, right?
Yes, I'm in.
Well, it was one of those days where we had taken on a flip, and we have so many fun experiences together, and some are shown on TV and so many of them aren't. But one day I was taking her into a house that I felt like we could flip, and I thought I knew the terrain, and I was taking her down into a cave, and all these vultures came out and attacked us.
Are you serious?
I dropped my phone, and we still have that video to this day. I dropped my phone, the vultures flew out, and we ran away. And after we did that, we started looking at each other, and I was like, this is the hill country. This is not normal. People don't experience this in every day. So we actually have that video, and that was one of the first videos that we sent to the producer saying, you know, the hill country is such a special place. And you know, in other areas, you just don't see that walking it down into caves. And
no,
we've never had one, you know, on the show, but there's so many experiences like that. And then once we actually started flipping, and this is before pre-show, we would be just sweating. Like I said, we have 0 fingernails because we're always working, and we're cut up by branches and I mean, hacking down cactuses and
all
everything.
The things.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, just 3 weeks ago, Rebecca fell into a cactus, and so I'm having to take my little tweezers and it just fell back, and I'm picking out like 50 little cactus pricks from her, and I'm like, this is not normal. This flipping in Texas is so much more challenging than other areas.
It sounds crazy.
Right. And, you know, and so once all those stories, and we have so many of them, but they kept adding up. And I'm like, first of all, we love what we're doing. We're making money. This, if we're going to do this, why don't we do it on TV? And of course, she has this most incredible background. I have 0 experience on TV or even doing commercials or anything like that. I mean, I did theater in high school, right? But she has this amazing network of people that she's worked with because she's such a quality, warm, kind person. And she's like, I know who we can reach out to. And so when we reached out to Joe Weinstock and just started, and again, this is a 2-year process, and they follow you. It's almost like dating. You know, networks want to date you. They want to swipe. They want to understand who you are
they
as
want
people.
To swipe.
Yeah, because you are a representation of their brand.
Totally.
Right? So that's what I'm like, let's do it.
It was the vultures.
It was the vultures.
It was the vultures in the cave that did it. I see how much you pour into the work that you do with the Mother Flip. You do traveling, you do the show, you do so many things, and we only get to see a little piece of it. But tell me, what was the biggest challenge you've overcome on your path to where you are now, and how did it shape you to where you are today? I'm sure that you've done so much growth just in this short period of time in your life.
So I think the biggest challenge was overcoming, and this is why I just repeat constantly, you've got to find another person in your life that's going to see the true person that you are, right? I came from a small town of Jourdanton. I graduated with 84 people in my class. And so I remember my parents just saying, you know what, your goal is to go to college, get out of college. That was success defined for me right there. And that was enough for them. But sometimes, and particularly when you're from a small town, you have these limiting beliefs of I've got to stay here, or I could never do that. And I will say that's one thing that I'm so grateful for Rebecca as a friend is she saw that limiting belief in me. And she said, no, you've got a story. You've been working hard your entire life. In high school, I had a cleaning business and I would go around and of course I would go to high school. I did cheerleading, I did theater, I did Future Farmers of America, right? And then I'm also cleaning houses at the same time and just working so I could save up for college and just this work ethic that's relentless. And that's something that as a friend, she saw in me that I just thought it was the norm. And she
Wow.
said, no, you're different and we are different. And we felt that energy again through our walks and those multiple experiences we had.
I love those walks. We've talked about those walks in previous
They're
episodes.
so important. They offer
Yes.
clarity. They've got health benefits. And we've always talked about how just besides flipping house, maintaining your health and taking care of yourself. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a gym. It can just be walking. You can be walking and just being able to sort ideas out at the same time getting all the health benefits.
It's total like me time, right?
Yes.
It's your me time.
Yes.
To where you don't have the phone, you're not scrolling, you're just focusing on your mental state, your body,
Right.
and it's your personal time.
Mhm.
I love how you talked about limiting beliefs and how you had them, right? Because we see you and you're such a success, but everybody has limiting beliefs,
For
and a lot
sure.
of people don't talk about that. And some of them are also deep rooted. In
Mhm.
what ways do you feel that society underestimates, for example, women? I know that us as women, we go through that. And how do you feel like you're working to change those narratives? Because you're totally changing them.
There are women, we are constantly told, hey, even just with our ideas, oh, that could cost too much, or you don't understand. And the truth is, when it comes to homes and flipping homes, we understand it the most because we are creating this nest to nurture our family. And in a male dominated industry, men are wonderful, right? We're grateful for them. But at the same time, their vision and their creativity lack sometimes in the functionality of a home and how we as women and running our families operate. And so if you have men in your life that are not able to understand that, then that's a problem. And Rebecca and I have worked very, very diligently to try to find those men that understand where we're coming from to help make our designs come alive. And there is this space for us. And I really think we get so many compliments, our contractors that we work with. You know why they love us? Because we're there every day. We dress in gear and we get in there and do work. So they may be working on something that they are a specialty in with the tile, right? But at the same time, we're out there pulling rocks, landscaping, getting cactus in our, bonks. Like it's just one of those things because I feel like people, they will always respect you if you show up and have the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's something we don't back down for, right? If we want something, we're going to be in it right there with you.
I love that. There's strength in that, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there really is when you show up and you show everybody that's around you, hey, I can do this. This is not just for TV, for example.
And I'm in it with you.
Yeah,
right?
we're together.
We're together. And that energy, it carries over the entire day. It carries over to our film crews every day. And again, it was a limiting belief. I remember I would never recommend, flipping 10 homes ever to anyone all at once within 5 months. But that was a challenge that we were given and we were going to deliver on that. When I first started, I didn't know how it was going to be done because I'd never filmed TV. I didn't understand. I had to trust the process in that. A&E hired an incredible team. They had all come from filming HGTV, very high level people, and they were coming in to wrap around our process. That was their goal. I didn't understand how that was going to happen because there's three of us, right? How can 35, 40 people come in and understand what I'm doing and the direction that everything has to go? And it just slowly over time, I started trusting that they always had my back and that they were going to show us in the best light.
And they believed in you.
Yes.
Totally. I want to talk about your inner strengths. We all have inner strengths that others may not know about. What strengths do you lean on that others may not know that you have?
Sure. I feel like there's so much. My strength is adaptability, right? And being able to celebrate the fact that every project has its challenges, but being able to celebrate those pivots and knowing, hey, we can adapt this way, we can adapt this way, and we don't stop. Not only that, it is just true grit. There are so many unglamorous things. You get to see the glamour on TV, but there's so many things that we do that are unglamorous, that are constant, dealing with the trash. And there's a lot of just unglamorous parts of it that really don't get shown as much as they should.
I agree. And I love that I'm learning that we only see the tip of the iceberg that makes the cut on the TV show, but there's a lot of pivots that you do and things that we don't get to see. And I'm sure that you at times spread yourself thin because even with the TV show, you also have other responsibilities. You're a mom, you got all these things going on in your personal life. How do you balance it professionally, personally? How do you learn when to say no to protect your time, your energy, your boundaries? How do you manage all this? It seems like such a busy life.
It is a busy life, but I have learned that, saying no is sometimes just honoring and being self-respectful to myself, right? Because if I spread myself way too thin, which I'm guilty of, and I think a lot of moms are guilty of, because we have this love, we have this nurturing that we want to take care of everything. But if I say yes to everything, I am never showing up with the best version of myself.
Totally.
If you do that, if you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to be able to have, construction minded. You're not going to be able to talk about budgets and timelines and everything. And you've got to be able to wrap your head around these projects that are real money, high risk, and big gambles.
Oh my goodness. I can only imagine. Yeah, you have to have a sharp mind for that. I want to talk about burnout because that's what comes to my mind when you have all these, circling plates in the air, like
Yes.
you're like a juggling act.
A little circus act.
Yeah, I want to
Yes.
talk about burnout because it's a real thing. How do you take care of your mental and emotional health? What practices do you do to recharge? How do you say I need me time? And what do you do to get it?
Right, man. Taking care of me, it always is a walk. That is something, the exercise is super important. Granted, we get a ton of exercise when we're demoing, when we're moving things out. But always taking care of, even if it's just a walk, that is one exercise that I can do every single day, no matter what. I can do it and feel peace and calmness. And it's always when I'm out in the walks, connecting with nature or connecting with my community around me. I relish all the relationships with my neighbors. I find it very odd sometimes that people in our community, they don't know their neighbor that lives at the end of the street. And I get so much joy being in part of their lives because there's this quietness about your neighbor sometimes that you don't really recognize, is that they're living there. And sometimes people need to be able to reached out to, or sometimes they need help that they don't realize. And so when you're out there and you make yourself available, I get so much joy from that. I also get so much joy from just ordering tacos or chalupas, watching some bad TV and then scrolling on Zillow for houses that I definitely should not be looking at.
Hey, I've been guilty of that too. Okay. I think we all have our guilty pleasures. I want to ask you, you have so much inspiration that you are giving to others with the journey that you're on. Who inspires you?
You know what, Jessica? I've been incredibly blessed to surround myself with women, my Aunt Edna and my grandmother who has since passed, but women that did things. My grandmother in 1950, I mean, she went to a college for women, and that's even just unheard of. She was the one that kind of started that and had an entrepreneurial spirit. And then my Aunt Edna, one of 6 siblings, she was the only one that went to college. And so my parents, unfortunately, they didn't go, but they saw the value in that. And so luckily, being from a small town, I just had other mentors around me that just said, you can do this, but you can also be shown other opportunities that you didn't know existed. I mean, I really remember thinking in middle school, okay, I don't want to work. Dairy Queen's great, but there's Dairy Queen and there's a bank, okay? And I just knew I wanted to do something bigger. Maybe it was work at a hospital. I couldn't think of that. And I'm telling you, if you do live in small towns, sometimes it's just very important that you get outside and you talk with people, because you don't know how big that you can dream until you surround yourself with other people that just say, hey, don't be afraid. You can do this.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Right. And then sometimes even within your circle, that maybe it's your family, they don't know what they don't know. Right. And they haven't been taught, or they haven't lived anything different than what it is. And then you come in and then you're living the same thing too. What do you say to the women that are in that position? What do you say to them? Because I mean, you broke that. You broke through that.
I broke through that. Yeah. And from the small town. And if you're in that position, I just encourage you, don't sit at home and wait for something to happen. Get out. And it can be the little thing as just getting out in your neighborhood and meeting someone new. Just like I met Rebecca. She's my neighbor. How lucky was I to meet her? And we have that connection. But if I wasn't out and about and not on my phone and just focusing on just who's around me that I can reach out to and connect with, then I wouldn't be where I am right this moment.
It's all about the connection.
It is very much so about the connection.
A lot of it is off the phone, right? Off social media.
Yes.
And get to know.
It's not on social media.
Yeah. Get to know the people that you live around.
Mm-hmm.
Because this journey that you're on is because you met your neighbor.
Yes.
Right? And look at what happened.
And look what's happened. We have a TV show.
Yeah. From walking. I'm totally walking.
You just never know.
I don't know my neighbors. I'm totally walking. I want to ask you, what advice would you offer to women who want to start something like a business, a show, content creation, anything, but are afraid? What would you, and they're afraid that they'll be judged.
Right.
Right. Because there's a lot of judging that goes on. A lot of women and men are afraid of that. What do you say to them?
Look, you just keep on doing what you're doing and chasing your dreams, because opinions do not make dreams. There's always going to be critics. There's always going to be naysayers, but you can always prove them wrong by just doing. And when you're doing, chase a dream that you love, because it is unstoppable when you are in love with what you are doing.
Yes, especially for women that want to go into a male-dominated field.
Yes.
Talk about that, because you did it and you're successful at it.
Right. I mean, women are kind of having a hard time breaking into the field, and there are other women, but it's really powerful. When we decided that we wanted to work and build a house on the river, 2 of them with Roy, it was really, really empowering. And here's why. Because women are always put in this tight little box. And we decided, you know what? We can build our own box, right?
Yes.
It can have solar power. It can look like a castle. I mean, we can create our own, and we don't have to be in this box anymore. And once you realize that, you are unstoppable.
I love that answer. We truly are empowered. We just need to come to the realization that we have that power within ourselves. Whether we're in the right circle or we're not, we'll build the circle. Right. If
we'll build the circle, we'll build the path, we'll build our house.
I love that. I'm totally binge watching your show. What has surprised you most about being in this male-dominated line of work? And what do you love? And what didn't you expect? Were there any surprises in this field?
Oh my gosh, here's what surprises. And I'm really not sure, to be honest, what to do with this. But I am so surprised at how much waste that I'm seeing that's going into the construction industry. And this is stuff that people don't talk about, right? And one of the things that Rebecca and I are really good about is sustainable design. Like, we do not, if we can avoid it, we don't want to go to the big box stores. We want to take stuff, which is why we love Habitat for Humanity, because builders are often dropping off packages of trim or flooring and all these amazing things that could go in the dumpster or landfill when they're just brand new and they have zero room for them on their job sites. So the amount of waste is incredible, right? If people do not understand that you have to find somewhere for that to go, and what they consider waste is something that people could use to build homes or renovate homes.
Wow.
So that was just kind of shocking, even on the show, because we are used to taking everything that we have and moving them house to house, right? To save money, to save on cost. Well, when we're building 10 all at once, we didn't have the luxury to constantly transport because they're all happening all at once,
Wow.
right? So we ended up with all this excess inventory after the show, which we still have in storage, by the way, for, season 2. But so I'm constantly trying to think about that, what to do with that, because I would like to change that. I would like to make it to where it's easier for builders to get that stuff. Sometimes it's just easier, right? They throw it in the trash. They just want to be done. But I want to find a way to get that to where other people, to where they can use it. So that's been a huge thing.
I love that. That sounds like a whole other mission.
It is.
That could be its own TV show.
Yes.
Totally. Looking ahead, what is a dream or goal that you have? It could be this or other things that you want to see with the Mother Flip.
I really want to see people understanding different ways, different perspectives on homes and how they can look so awful and they can be broken, but you can flip them into something incredibly beautiful if you just put your heart into it. I also want people to feel empowered that a lot of people just say, you know what, I don't have the money. And here's the thing. You often have things in your house that you can sell. And here's one of the things that Rebecca and I do every single house. Sometimes we buy a house and it has so much stuff hoarder-wise, but there's so many things that can be sold. And sometimes it's just selling those little things that get you up to $300, $400, so you can get that brand new bathroom vanity that you've always been wanting. So don't get in this thing of, I can't afford it. Get in this mode of, hey, what do I have around my house that someone on eBay or someone on Facebook Marketplace or someone can buy, so I can use that money to start saving for something that I am acquiring. Don't have this limiting belief that you can't afford it. Work towards it.
And be creative.
Yes.
Be creative with, like, how can I raise money? How can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
I love all your limiting beliefs. I feel like you have broken so many in just your own personal journey.
Well, all these things are things that I've felt and I've struggled that personally, right? Yeah. And so I've had to break through and figure out ways because I'm going to do it.
Period.
The end.
Yeah. Period. I'm going to do it. There's no ifs, and or buts. It's going to get done. Tell me I know that they possibly are all your babies, but what is one of your favorite episodes or top 3?
My top 3 episodes. I'm so in love with our episode 4, The Critter House. And it's just because, I went through hell with permitting for it, okay? It was one of those things where I remember going to the office saying, we've got this TV show. And they're like, what? Who are you? and I'm just like, no, I want to transform this. And I can't even get electricity to this house. The electricity had been off for years. And the code, the electrical box, it wasn't even up to code. So you've got code too. And I just kept getting pushback from the permitting office. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, why are you not helping me? And finally, we got through the permits and then people started coming by. And I just love that house. I'm so in love with it. It's the tiniest house, but to me, it has some of the most love.
I love that. And it sounds between the two of you that you put so much effort into that house that made it live again, right? You brought it life.
We did. I mean, we really took the time. And, it's interesting, this emotional connection. I have one to every part of every home that we do, because emotionally I find myself going through the house. When we are looking at cost and we're looking at budgeting, but at the same time I'm looking at this house as a human being, right? Thinking about the memories that people could create and what makes each space special. And so there's a lot of just of ourselves that we put in that house. And honestly, I think about, when you see the reveals and you go through the house, and we are particularly taking you through the house in the show, that genuine joy that you see on my face is all my heart feeling how proud I am of us, and just taking people through. There's no one better to take you through a house than one that we've done, because we can tell you every single aspect and why we changed it and just how much time and love we poured into it.
Yeah, you poured your heart and soul into it. And sweat
too.
Yeah, sweat. Well, don't forget the sweat and the dust and all the things. I want to give you a really quick lightning round of questions just to get to know you outside of the mother flip. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Well, this one's going to be about the mother flip. Who would you want to be your dream guest star? If you could wave a magic wand and be like, I want them.
Oh man, I would love to, if Robin Williams could be reincarnated, just him. He's so creative and he's so fun. And let me tell you, Jessica, if you're not having fun at what you're doing, you're not going to love it. You're not going to keep on with it.
No, you're going to.
So so I would just love him if he could be creative or reincarnated, like you said. But someone just fun, someone edgy, Snoop Dogg, Martha Stewart.
Both of them together.
Yeah, both of them together. I love their personalities and how they collaborate.
Yes.
So it would be super fun picking out Taya with them.
I love that answer. What movie can you quote start to finish?
I can't really quote a movie, but I do love Bridesmaids.
Ooh,
I mean,
yes.
I love going to weddings, and just I love that show shows you how women's friendships are super strong, and despite being how messy they can be, that women are always there for each other and they can lift each other up.
Yes, totally. I'm a fan of that. Favorite way to unwind after filming?
For sure. Yeah. I just want to sit. I want to get in my pajamas, and I just want to sit. Sometimes I just go out and sit and watch the birds, but really I like to get in my PJs. I like to have a glass of wine and just binge watch on a TV program, something that has nothing to do with flipping.
Yeah. You need balance.
Yeah.
I agree. I can see that. A phrase you say to yourself when you need motivation.
Oh, every single day. Just keep moving.
Love it.
Right? One step in front of the other. That is all. Because every day you can start your day and think, how am I going to get this all accomplished? Just don't even start. Just keep moving, because at the end of the day, you will be able to celebrate all that you've accomplished if you just do that. Don't get on social media. Don't sit back, right? Just keep moving.
Love that. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh man, I there's so many things. I really wish I could make, contractors show up exactly on time like they promised to, but that's not going to happen. I get pretty close. But I really wish that I could have just healing hands, to where I could go into everyone deserves an amazing home, or a home that they feel safe in, that they feel secure. It is a place where you make all your memories, and just allows growth for people. And so if I could have the healing hands to be able to create a home that could impact people instantly, that would be my superpower.
I love that answer. You're so good with that. One home trend you'll never get tired of.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so just big windows and natural light, right?
Okay.
Let nature come in. I mean, and a lot of times people are like, they don't want to spend the money on these windows, but you know what? You don't have to have anything. You don't have to have blinds, anything. But if you have natural light coming into your environment, and you can have fresh plants and stuff, it really impacts your soul in a positive way.
Oh, there's science behind that.
Yes.
Totally love that. What's one home trend you'd love to see disappear?
Man, this is not even a home trend. This is just popcorn ceilings. They drive me nuts, and scraping them
Oh,
is
yes.
awful. We've done it, and that is one thing that I'm like, I can't do this. This is just so much, you know. But I'm so over them. And anyone that even does this or heavy texture on walls, you should be, you know, ashamed of yourselves, because it doesn't allow for that clean palette, that fresh look. But just, you know, I really, I mean, I don't really have ones that I'm really into right now to color drenching. I think that that's really cool. I don't know how long that's going to last, and particularly the darker rooms, but you know, I'm open to it.
I love that. And I love that vibe too. It's very vibey when you walk into a room like that.
Mm-hmm.
Finish this sentence. Empowered women.
Empowered women see other women and empower them by helping them shine their light.
Love it. Yes. 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 I don't know where the applause button is, but here's my applause for that one. I'm loving that one. Where can people find you, follow the show, all the things?
Oh man, we are doing all this media tour right now, but we're trying to be active, of course, on our socials. But they can find us at Kristy and Rebecca on Facebook and on Instagram. So at Kristy and Rebecca, and that's Kristy with the K. And you'll be able to see just fun clips from our show. You'll also be able to see we're going to start some new projects. And so we're just slowly building. I will be honest with you. We have been focused heavily on flipping. So we're trying to take a hot moment and focus on socials as well.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kristy, for coming on the show with me today. It's been so inspiring and fun. It's been such a fun conversation
So
here
much
on
fun.
She Will Empower. I love it. And to all of you tuning in at KWVH 94.3 Wimberley Valley Radio, I am so grateful you spent part of your day with us. Remember, empowerment isn't just a buzzword, it's a lifestyle. I'm Jessica Cherry, and I'll see you next time with more stories, strategies, and voices that help you rise higher and step fully into your power.